Victor Timely arrives at the TVA to help prevent the destruction of the space-time continuum, while Ramona, Miss Minutes, and a handful of renegade TVA members have a heart-to-heart. Hey! Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba, and once again with Mr. Abel Pineda. And as you all know, we are contractually obligated by forces unknown to review every single episode of Loki. But I'll tell you what, this was an episode of Loki.
You know what, man? And I think I texted this to you, but I was just like, this is the first time in a long time where something Marvel actually had me like engaged. I was in it. I'm like watching it going, what?
It was good, and I think it was actually probably one of the best episodes of Loki, let's say.
Yeah.
And it borrowed a lot from great classic science fiction. And I think the one you'll probably go, your Leonardo DiCaprio, definitely going to be Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like there were some strong Back to the Future vibes in this episode.
So perfect. Marty.
Well, there are quotes word for word from Back to the Future in this.
Those you're better with than I.
Yeah, I'll tell you where they were. But okay, so this is the thing. Victor Timely, we met in the last one. He's like King the Conqueror in the 1800s. So he's like a cowboy, and I just call him King the Conqueror. Let's call him King, future King. But he's Victor Timely in this reality, and he is here, and they take him. And him and Ouroboros, OB, geek out over the TVA thing.
Yeah.
And then Ouroboros, he made a mock-up of the mission and the loom that they have to repair.
Yeah.
And he goes, forgive me, it's not to scale. And if it's not to scale, that's direct from Doc Brown. In every single Back to the Future movie, he always built a scale model. And he kept on saying, "Forgive me, it's not the scale. Oh, sorry, I didn't have time to paint this." It was quote for quote this thing here.
Dude, I have to rewatch these movies, man. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it was like
good Thanksgiving movies for me, anyway.
Yeah. By the way, Thanksgiving coming out soon. But anyway,
yeah.
He does that, and then they're saying that there's one thing that they can't get right. They got to do this, and then for some reason the thing keeps exploding, and. And Victor Timely is like, oh, well, I invented this thing. And he has this ball.
Keeps from deteriorating, I guess, like as someone passes through. And I don't know if you caught this, but that little device he brought up, it's been rumored that little device is actually the model he used in Ant-Man Quantumania as his ship. It keeps him intact through times.
It's a couple of things. It's the MacGuffin that they were trying to put together in Quantumania. It was also the shape of his throne when he sits in the throne and opens and closes in Quantumania. But also the way they described it in this one was it's the flux capacitor. You remember Doc Brown is like, you need the flux capacitor, otherwise the thing's going to explode.
Like, you need this. So it's here.
So to me, what it does is it helps capacitate the flux. And then to me, like if you actually remember the Back to the Future,
they call it the throughput multiplier.
Yeah. Man, it's pretty awesome. So while that's happening, the TVA is having an existential crisis because there's those people who were pruning everything in the last one. And there's also the
they've been imprisoned now.
They've been imprisoned, and then the B-14, and Owen Wilson, they're running the TVA right now, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they have a heart-to-heart with the main girl who's running the insurgents, and just like, you want to do good for the TVA, we want to do good to the TVA. So just like, we'll talk. Meanwhile,
if we don't do anything, then the TVA will not exist.
Yeah. So they think about it. Meanwhile, Ramona and Miss Minutes come while the current administration is gone to talk to these insurgents.
Yep.
And they're like, join us, and together we can rule the empire. Like the whole
for the empire.
Yeah,
I actually said that while I was watching it.
Yeah, they got a whole like Darth Vader thing going.
Yeah,
and the only one who agrees to do it is Brad, because he was a superstar in a different timeline, so he could be a superstar again.
Sacred timeline.
In the sacred timeline, so he was happy about that. So he joins Ravona. Meanwhile, the other ones get squished to death in the force field machine. And I saw that force field machine in the beginning of this episode in that room. Like, why did they leave him with that? Because I thought they were going to escape using the force field machine. Because
I knew it was going to be the opposite, man. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, so they were squished to death, and then the main girl who ran the insurgents here is like, what does it mean that I'd rather die than join you?
And Brad's like right there going, just watching it happen. I'm like, oh.
Well, he's watching it happen like in disgust, kind of like whatever. Yeah. But Miss Minutes was like, ooh,
smirking, like enjoying the death. I'm like, what a robot.
And here, there's a couple of like interesting character moments where Owen Wilson is drinking hot cocoa.
Yeah.
And then Victor Timely from the 1800s is like, what is that, hot cocoa? He's like, yeah, I got it from hot cocoa machine. Can I see the hot cocoa machine? So
he goes obsessed with it.
He gets obsessed with the hot cocoa machine, and then there's like a guard watching him.
The guard agrees to take him because he won't shut up about the hot cocoa machine.
But like, I felt bad for the guard because like he had the hot cocoa machine, then he gave it to the guard, and the guy's like, okay, and he drinks, and he's like, that was refreshing. Like he was like, it's all good. Then he gets pruned.
You're like, no.
Yeah. He gets pruned, and so sorry about that hot cocoa guy. Meanwhile,
that was Bradley.
Yeah, it was by Bradley or Ravona, at least the team Ravona, and then they abduct Victor Timely, and they're trying to get him to do this. And they have Miss Minutes, and Miss Minutes is actively taking control of the TVA because that's what she does.
Yeah, they can't communicate. That's how they figure that out.
Yeah, the whole communication system is going down, and this is funny because the whole thing is like breaking down. And this is to me a bunch of Jurassic Park moments actually here, because when the Miss Minutes took control of the system, she did the you didn't say the magic word.
Yes.
No, you didn't say the magic word.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that since that happened, right? Just like Jurassic Park, to bypass that thing, they had to reset the system.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where Samuel Jackson lost his arm.
That's good.
But in this one, there's a funny line where OB's like, yeah, we can reset the system, but like it's going to disable all the firewalls. Well, what happens if you disable the firewalls? Then people can use magic in the TVA. And then together, like Loki and Sylvie, like, reset the system. Yeah. Because they're magicians.
Yeah. Or as they call it, they're like, we are gods.
We are gods. So yeah, they reset the system, and they use the Loki magic to take control of the TV and deconstruct Miss Minutes back to her original nothingness.
Yeah, they take over. Was it at this point they take over Brad, right? Bradley.
Yeah, because Sylvie has the power to enchant. And take control. So she took over Bradley. She just. Did they kill Ravona? Did they prune her?
Yeah,
I feel like
he came in. It was so. It was such unceremonious.
It was such a sudden breakneck change of this movie's got a lot of breakneck events that break the universe here.
The mold of this, because you built up Ravona this whole time, and then she just gets taken out.
But that insurgent team Ravona gets pruned, and also since remember communications were down. That's when past Loki was actually walking around. So
yeah, that was so crazy.
Present Loki was able to prune him at the exact moment that he was pruned at the beginning. And then Sylvie was like, what was that? It's like, I don't know. I'll explain to you later.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
She's like, all right, I'll go with it.
Yeah, it seems like one of those days, I guess.
Yeah. It's like this jacket wearing Loki seems right.
Yeah. But anyway, they're going back and forth. They're trying to figure stuff out. And then they go to the scale and they figure out that they have to put the flux capacitor into the loom, and they got to do the same Owen Wilson, what's his name? Morbius walk.
Morbius.
He's got to do the Morbius walk, and he's got to do it even faster. And they're pretty good back and forth. Like, Loki, you should do it. He's like, why me? It's your turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
It's your turn.
And then Victor Timely's like, no,
I need to do it.
If anything happens, I know how to fix it.
Since he's the one who has King's DNA, he's able to enter, he's able to do it. He puts on that giant evil spacesuit, and then the minute they open the door to the space-time continuum,
and he turns into literal spaghetti.
This spaghetti turning is like this year's Dusted. Like,
because it was the thing is, what was it? It was the reality stone, right? The red stone?
It was the reality stone that the Drax, not Drax, Kang killed Drax with and everybody else with it, right? And then it was also the effect that they used when Scarlet Witch was killing all the superheroes in Multiverse of Madness, and it was also the what made a lot of the hypothetical Ant-Man fall apart in Ant-Man.
Yeah, they turned
to spaghetti. So he immediately opens the door and is turned to spaghetti from the temporal radiation. And this one was particularly evil looking because you could see his like skeleton coming apart too.
Yeah,
like there was some
just like they spent some time animating this.
Yeah, there was some good Adam anatomy video there. And then as that's happening, the space-time continues to explode,
the loom
and destroys everything.
Yeah, and everybody's watching, everybody's looking at this thing just get closer and closer. And you just see Loki, who just moments ago claimed he's a god. His eyes are filled with tears, and then that's it.
So presumably the entire universe has exploded.
Yeah, the sacred timeline is no more.
But now, did they lose the sacred timeline, or did they just lose the TVA? We don't know.
So that's it. We don't know because if they were there to maintain the secret timeline and the loom was there to prevent all this craziness. We still have 2 episodes left. What is gonna happen?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There are some notes. There's the who wrote the TVA manual. Did Boris write it first, or did Victor Timely write it? Because both of them wanted each other to sign it. They both
did the Spider-Man point. Like what?
Yeah. And also this also reminds me a lot of a Doctor Who episode where
I wouldn't be able to go there, but
I'm going to go there just because there was an episode where the universe did explode. The entire space-time continuum exploded, and what happened was there was just one item that was keeping the entire universe together after it exploded. That they were able to go back and forth through time. And
are we going to have a Jet Li's The One situation where there's just one strong forever Loki that shows up?
Maybe, but how they really put the universe back together in Doctor Who was they restarted the Big Bang.
Okay.
So maybe that's how they're going to do it this time, is by restarting the Big Bang.
It's something.
It's going to be something altogether. And then we'll see how things go. But anyway, that has been our hot take on Loki. I'm going to give it a quick letter grade, I guess. That's part of the contract we made with He Who Remains.
Disney.
Yeah. Oh, you guys want to make a podcast? Huh? Well, you guys have to review every episode of one of our shows. You either need to review. What is it? She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, or The Marvels, or Loki. Loki. Okay, then.
I'm glad we chose that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, man,
I'm going to give it an A+. This is how I want every episode of a TV show to go. Every character shines, even the red shirt background characters. They had a hot cocoa moment,
Yeah, man.
Now we can only guess what happens next to our heroes and villains as they find themselves in the stickiest situation ever.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta agree with you, man. I'm also going to give this one A+, just because this episode, it wasn't a short episode, but man, did everything happen so quickly. And you felt for even the bad guys. You felt for the good guys. And then now everyone's starting off at ground zero. So it was everything I didn't expect. So I'm really excited to see what happens next week. So, man, I can't wait to watch it with the rest of you guys.
Yeah, everyone had a motivation. Everyone had a thing to do. And it was just good all together. So I'm definitely looking forward to episodes 5 and 6. And then we can stop reviewing TV shows after that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that has been our hot take on the latest episode of Loki, episode 2, season 5.
Season 2, episode 5.
Loki,
episode 4.
Loki, season 2, episode 4. Heart of the TVA, directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. We will catch you next time with more Loki adventures. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba, joined once again by Mr. Abel Pineda for Clubhouse Movies Podcast. We'll catch you next time.